riding against the problem. Big part of our community. So let me begin by thanking everybody for being here. I know you're great supporters and really, really excited about the future. Then I'd like to thank you for joining me here today at the Canadian Transportation Museum, which is one of our beautiful gems in our town and our region. And it's an incredible time for Essex and for you as our residents. Essex is changing, and we can all see that we are approaching something new. And no matter where you look, you can see that our communities is developing. We meet here today at the Canadian Transportation Museum and Village, not only because it's located kind of in the center of our community, but it's a beautiful town, but because of the linkages that it brings to our collective past, one rich in our automotive industry, as you can see, which will undoubtedly continue to drive us forward, standing here in the center of our town. It is easy to visualize and to see that our community of communities, our strengths, is a sum of our parts. This museum and the village and the site that represents the past. It showcases how our ancestors built the community in the past and represents one of Essex's significant tourism attractions. Last year, this facility brought more than 50,000 people here, so it's something we need to really know. And we as a residents of Essex and those who visit our communities, we represent the present and the future. Before I enter public service, I, like so many of your friends and family members here in Essex, worked in the automotive industry as a union member. My time at Chrysler, working on the line, was different time. And with the automotive industry still, which provides immense benefits to our town and our region, we can see that things are changing around us. The history of Essex is rich and connects our community members to each other. But you, as well as I know, the only thing that is development to move Essex forward is new development. Which brings an example of my efforts with the new MFWest, which Bill is here today. Manufacturing operations brought 80 new people. Ford dealership, 50 employees. Tim Hortons, 30 staff in Carroll. Efforts for rezoning land to accommodate further industrial growth, which will position Essex for the future. I focus on revitalization, business expansion for commercial, community, and community groups by working with council to improve and expand our community improvement plan, which will provide grants and permit reliefs to businesses for renovations and upgrades, which we dearly need to move forward. I understand that business and tourism-friendly initiatives help drive Essex forward, which is why I focus on rezoning to enhance opportunities for a bed and breakfast in our regions. New microbrewery, we rezone for that. And niche businesses such as Drexler Driving Supplies, who does tours for diving and shipwrecks. Those are things we need to focus on. That's what brings our community together. That's how we can grow small opportunities in the various areas. During previous budget deliberation, I recommended to council that we need to contract an economic development officer to develop a strategic plan for business retention expansion for the town of Essex. I understand what Essex needs. I like to offer thanks to my family for always being there for me, late nights, early mornings, which comes with the job, as you know. And while I miss those extra hours with our family, they've always encouraged me to be in public life. My wife Shelley's here today with me. Shelley. Our daughter Faith is in Canmore, Alberta, in the mountains with our oldest son, kind of enjoying, but she's texting every hour, as they do. I'd like to thank my friends for always being there and challenging me, and for being true, to keep me humble. And I'd like to thank my current council colleagues, administration, and Mayor McDermott, for the tireless work in ensuring that our community thrives. There's no doubt that as council we have achieved great things that many claimed would take more years than it has, but we need to do much more, there's no question. Essex needs a mayor who knows how to work collaboratively with private business to ensure further development and investment. We need a mayor who is able to get everybody at the table, and I have that experience. Essex needs a mayor who has worked with all levels of industry and government to ensure that our priorities are heard provincially and federally, and I have that experience to ensure they're heard. Essex needs a mayor who has knowledge of the social service sector and who can ensure that all members of our community are position themselves to have contributions to be contributing members of our community. And I have that experience. Essex needs a mayor that understands that arts, culture, and agritourism will drive our town forward. I have that experience. Essex needs a mayor, like our current mayor, by the way, who loves our town, who will champion with every waking breath. And I'm that person with all those other skills as well. For this reason, I'm proud to announce that today, I can't see from here. So it's my experience as a councillor, combined with my first-hand knowledge and experience in private business, government affairs, the social service sector, and in arts and culture, that you can trust that I have the proper experience and that I'm the right person to lead our town. I'm running because I'm passionate about our community of communities, which is what Essex is and what we can accomplish by working together. We have a beautiful town, gem of the region. Other towns would strive for what we have. Even Kingsville, which is a beautiful town as well. We have beautiful scenery, beaches and harbor on the Lake Erie, agriculture and environmental oasis, wineries, emerging food, and agritourism, a sports culture deep in history, an active living and cycling culture exponentially evolving, a growing and a churning economy, 4 distinct residential communities which has rich history and credible population made of volunteers, service groups, and people that continually champion each of their communities. I have the experience required to understand that our next mayor needs to be collaborative, progressive, visionary, with confidence, and the acumen to actually engage at all levels, for industry, regional issues, provincial, federal, and most importantly, with all residents. The next 4 years requires strong leadership, the ability to govern through building consensus among stakeholders, and a council led by a mayor with a vision and current knowledge on how to implement strategy. That is exactly what we need when we elect a mayor. I have that experience. Many candidates will claim they worked hard for you as your representative, and that's great. We all work hard in public life, there's no question. We all know that hard work guarantees success, right? Well, as you know, when you taught your children, sometimes this is, unfortunately, is not always the case. Sometimes working hard isn't enough. And while some politicians indeed work very hard, they haven't necessarily been working smart, and which is what is the reality, what needs is what matters. I will not only work hard as your mayor, I will work smart. I have the experience. I like to look at our municipality as one set of financial books. One that is made up of a community of communities. And it's true, our strength is the sum of our parts. Essex operates as a major corporation with 4 subsidiaries, each with specific opportunities that need to be focused on, cultivated to ensure we have continued growth. Having extensive experience in both the private and public sector, I understand fully the need to be fiscally responsible. And together, we will position Essex towards continued growth and investment. Essex Centre is the heart of our region, and it can draw labor and commercial investment from everywhere in the surrounding area. It's a unique feature. There are opportunities to rezone land for further industrial development, and we need to ensure that we position Essex Centre to be strong as we can. We have opportunity there. McGregor faces unique opportunities and challenges. Primarily, the question is, how do we grow our program? And what role does Amherstburg have in the discussion? Do we have the need to integrate part of the assessment base to help both financially? This is a conversation we need to have. Harrow, much like every small town, rural place in Ontario that lives next to a major urban center, has faced and suffered decline in its commercial areas. We need to ensure that we reinvent what we are doing to ensure future growth. There are opportunities We have a community improvement plan that we need to target and focus on, and we need to promote that. It's starting to work, but we need to really push that because it is a benefit. I can say at this time, I've met with the 6 largest employers in Mayoral, the owners of the wineries, at a combined meeting with interest in the group to advance discussions for a hotel in Mayoral. We're moving to the feasibility stage, and with an architect, more will be on that when we talk about it in the future. Colchester, one of our gems in our region, thrives and survives on the growth of agritourism, viticulture, active living industry. Thanks to Councilor Scott and our council for leading the community-wide transportation study, we will now bring currently 77 kilometers of bikeways and trails to over 800 kilometers in 20 years. Essex has been aggressive in this. That's progress. We're leading the way. And I'm proud to work with Councilor Scott and our council to make this reality. That is what you can accomplish when you work smart and collaborate. As a councilor, I took a few personal initiatives that I'm proud of to have accomplished. When I took office, I first became chair of personnel for the personnel committee, and with a focus to renovate the senior level of administration. The time had come to rebuild and move forward. And as a result, we have a new CEO, Russ Phillips, who's come from Manitoba, has done a wonderful job. We had a manager of personnel, something that had never been done before. A communications manager to ensure that our message is both managed and received properly. And we welcome back Doug Sweet, the Director of Community Services, and he is well on his way for a master plan, Parks and Rec master plan, and it is well overdue. The town of Essex now has enhanced administration with a new system of checks and balances for personnel and new communication. Essex is promoted better than ever. So these are some of the initiatives that we focused on to build our administration. I understand that council is the face of the community, and as mayor, I will delegate responsibility to councilors to ensure that they are actively involved in the community, attending events, holding public forum. The mayor can't do it all, has lots of work. He leads with his council. And importantly, I will listen to you, our neighbors, friends and family, and most important, our future constituents, with our top priority as mayor and council. As mayor, I will also work with council to consider the council ward budget, that a councillor has a responsibility for specific projects that will directly benefit their residents. Councillors would first need to meet with residents to determine priority projects. A council ward budget would permit the ward council to have the ability to deliver specific neighborhood projects to the residents. In an effort to enhance transparency and communication with council and our residents at every council, which now, as you're aware, is televised on Bell TV 586, CFTV, and through YouTube on our website. I would report on activities I have engaged in and what has been done by Representative Head of the Council to ensure that we meet benchmarks so that our performance can be assessed and tracked. We're going to work hard and smart. In order to ensure that Essex is best poised for continued growth and investment, we have improved internally, which is why, now that we have completed rebuilding the CEO's office, we need to look at the mayor's office. Essex needs to create a new mayor's office, one that collaborates with and works with the CEO's office, and we need a hallway of communication that runs smoothly between the CEO's office, the mayor's office, and council. Now that we have renovated administration leadership, it is time for new political leadership. I pledge that as mayor, I will only serve 2 terms. This ensures that ideas don't stagnate, get complacent, and that the focus remains on the town of Essex, the community, and not individual politics. Municipalities need to develop succession plans that ensure continued growth, and while some look to service as long service awards for achievement, I like to look for performance and new vision as results. We need to build and groom our future leaders for succession. Re-election should not be guaranteed, and when it does occur, it should be based on performance, not convenience or name recognition. I have the proven experience and vision to lead. Our region has so many incredible features and industries, and we have the ability to ensure continued growth. I have the experience required. Our focus as council, when it comes to our budget, simply put, needs to change. We as a community of communities need to increase our industrial and commercial tax assessment base. The town of Essex currently operates on roughly a $34 million budget annually. Of that, which is $12.5 million, is from our tax assessment base. Other funds come from the gas tax fund, Ontario Partnership Fund, and water rates for sewer, which are additional as well. Of the $12.5 million, 78% is residential base. That is strategy. This needs to change. And Essex needs a mayor who can bring continued growth and investment to take the burden off the residents. I have that experience. Essex needs to ensure surpluses to put in reserve for future capital expenditures. But this can't occur with residents which are subsidizing capital projects at the risk of reduced services and tight revenues. We need to increase the tax assessment base in the industrial sector.
Two more.
Yeah.
Keep going, Bill.
So which we need to take, ensure the residents are taking almost 80% of all taxes. We need to take that off the bat. This needs to change. And as mayor or council assistants, we will develop an economic strategy to grow the revenues that will benefit all of Essex. Currently, every $100,000 needed to our budget represents an increase of 1% of our residential tax base, and this needs to change. We need to ensure that we increase revenues from a variety of sources, not just off the backs of the residents. So on election day, through mail-in ballot, you'll be casting your vote in one of the most crucial elections that Essex will face. You will be faced with a vote that will help determine the future of our town and the broader region. As a result of your vote, you will be helping your friends, family, and neighbors for the future. A progressive path forward which invests in key infrastructure while ensuring that we lay the groundwork to facilitate well-paying jobs while putting our communities first is the only way Essex will grow. Since you first elected me, I worked relentless to serve the residents of Essex with the utmost integrity and dedication. I raised critical issues in council to ensure that they receive the necessary attention. My role as councillor, simply put, was to listen to you, my fellow residents, and to go out and deliver results. I've done this, and I will continue to do this and more as your mayor. So I'm proud of our accomplishments on council, but there's much more to do. Essex is my home, and I want to build a bright future for my family and for yours. On election day, I'm asking you to support a progressive and visionary path that brings us together and positions Essex and our communities for continued growth and investment. Essex needs you. I need you. Let's make our communities all we can be for Essex.